Why don't I just kick things off with like quick introduction? So Brenton and Cam, just tell me a little bit about you guys and tell me about Money Pickle.
I'm Brent Thurman, co-founder and CEO of Money Pickle. We started about 4 years ago as a pretty different concept than what we are today. But what we're doing today is matching individuals with financial advisors through our pretty large network across the country. So we're just the middleman that facilitates that introductory meeting for people to, at no cost, meet a matched financial advisor, speak a little bit about their financial situation and goals, and in a no obligation way, pretty much be able to learn about their options and even take the next steps with their financial advisor if they'd like. So that's kind of what we're doing today. We're a small team. Cam was one of the first people to join the Money Pickle team. He's in charge of finding new publications and partners to pretty much spread the message of Money Pickle, get our word out there for people to use Money Pickle as just a solution for finding better financial clarity, exploring their options, etc. So Cam actually introduced me to Brooks, and the relationship has been very fruitful ever since the beginning. It's kind of my introduction. Cam, if you want to take it.
Hello, I'm Cameron Miller. I'm the Chief Partnership Officer of Money Pickle, and as Brent mentioned, I kind of lead the way with building brand relations and partnerships within the marketing space to essentially spread the message of Money Pickle, what we do, and how we can help individuals better their financial life in retirement, leading up to retirement, and making sure all your ducks are in a row as you progress. I am kind of going back to how we first got connected. And for anyone who hasn't watched these videos before, my name's Brooks Dowroff. I am the CEO and founder of Walk On Holdings. We have two divisions under our parent company. The Street Sheets, our publishing company. We have about 160,000 subscribers on our email newsletter, which is what we focus on there. And then Money Marketers, which is our content marketing agency. We focus specifically on the finance space. So we serve firms like Fintechs, RIAs, banks, smaller investor relations teams. So the Money Pickle crew and I connected largely because of the Street Sheet. And the goal was, how do we tell the Money Pickle story and value proposition in a native way in our newsletter, get it out to our audience and help people? Like at the end of the day, we're just trying to figure out who is maybe overwhelmed by a bunch of items when it comes to kind of financial planning and even just the markets. And, ideally they're speaking with vetted professionals, right? People who have done this before for a number of years, are experts in the space. And so that's how we started working together. And I think, guys, like typically you work with publishers like us in a lot of times in newsletters. That's how we kicked off. Do you want to talk a little bit about where you're kind of trying to get some of the traffic from and where you direct it to and how the process works? Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, I think a mutual friend of ours introduced us 5-6 months ago, I think, maybe sooner than that. When we started off, like you said, with the newsletter ads, with the 160,000 subscribers that you have, as well as your website and doing other types of lead generation campaigns within the Street Sheet family. And it's been very, very prominent in our marketing efforts. And with over the course, especially of the last 3 months, you guys have adapted, whether we had something go wrong on our end, or we changed something within our marketing message or our retirement tool or quiz. And you guys have always been super, super great in adapting to Money Pickle, making sure that we're getting the most out of every single cent spent with you guys. And that's been truly a blessing, and it's been a pleasure working with you thus far. And I'm excited for, the next few months and hopefully the next few years working with you guys.
Yeah, and I would just like to add on to that too I'm pretty hands off with the whole relationship here, but from what I have seen is just a really impressive kind of relationship that I'm seeing being formed. We've gone through several different, more than several, just numerous amounts of relationships with different publications, whether that's newsletters, blogs, any type of channel like that. And this one stands out by far the most just because of, like Cam said, the way that we've been able to work together on adapting to new situations and efforts. That's so important for us as a startup that what we're doing today can be completely different than what we're doing next week. So, it is more difficult for us to find the right relationships with working with publications just for that reason. With Street Sheet, you guys and your team coming to us with new ideas of what to do instead of us just kind of breaking the news that, hey, we're changing this completely. Hey, we're changing this completely. It's nice for a change that you guys are actually coming to us with new ideas that we can try. And, we're actually jumping on those and acting on those ideas quickly as well. So ideas are a dime a dozen, but the speed at which we are actually doing these new things is really impressive. So I'm glad that you guys kind of share that same work ethic or culture, I guess, as us. And it's just been really helpful for us to get stuff done, try new stuff. Some stuff fails, some stuff succeeds, but then we just move on with the stuff that succeeds and grow on it. And, next week will be a new exciting idea too. So it's just been a really a great few months that we've been doing this for.
And guys, I appreciate that big time. The feeling is totally mutual, meaning we love working with your squad. You guys are a scrappy bunch that thinks creatively. That's kind of how we picture ourselves. And so we've had this nice kind of back and forth in Slack where we're just bouncing ideas off of each other and still kind of keeping mindful of the original goal, right? Which is like, how do we find people who are looking to connect with advisors? Let's leverage our newsletter. Let's leverage some other creative, methods that we're kind of testing out in the background. And that is one thing like we're very excited about. We, as a publisher, yes, we have the website, we have the newsletter, but we can also be very precision targeted and understand on a kickoff call, who is your ICP, where are they swimming? Like if we're going fishing, like what type of bait are we using? Like where are they swimming? Let's try different things. Maybe it doesn't work the first time. Maybe we're on a hot streak 1 week, right? Like that's how I kind of always equate marketing is like you have to be testing, optimizing, trying different bait, going to different waters, right? But after we've had a good kickoff call with our clients, including you guys, like we know directionally where we should be heading. And so that's just one thing I'll share. And we do sincerely love working with you. So I think, like I said, being mindful of like the original goal of driving high quality traffic and clicks to a quiz funnel to get people to kind of enunciate what they're looking for in an advisor is like was the original mandate. I want to circle back to the newsletter that we're helping you guys manage as well. But for that original goal, Cam, maybe you can weigh in here. Like I was looking at the year-to-date stats, right? And this is pretty accurate, but I know, you and I always go back and forth on monthly emails. Hey, what data are you seeing? What data am I seeing? We always kind of make sure it matches, right? The attribution is huge. From our end, right? We're seeing over, 5,800 clicks. We're seeing about 140 conversions, which I think more or less lines up with, your data. And those conversions for the people are just listening in. Those are people that are clicking through an ad of ours, which, by the way, I'll say our team thinks very hard about. On the ad creation process when we generate copy and assets that sit in the newsletter, right? Like this is someone who is in the mindset to help grow and manage and protect their wealth. So they're clicking through, an ad of ours, going to a Money Pickle hosted quiz, answering upwards of like 10 questions, right? And then also booking a time to call, right? So, I'd love to hear your thoughts on just kind of the data, the metrics. I think you mentioned like the people that we are driving to the Money Pickle quiz have on average, call it 600,000 to over $1 million of investable assets, right? So these are, higher net worth, higher household incomes. I think that'd be kind of just helpful to hear from your end, the quality of the traffic, the quality of the leads and the calls that you're seeing from Street Sheet.
Yeah, absolutely. The quality and the quantity has been great, and it's something that's been growing month over month, even with, obstacles thrown in the way that we have to quickly adapt to and find new ways to generate those leads. But the conversions themselves, the 125 to 150 conversions that we've gotten from Street Sheet have been very, very good, and a decently high attendance rate of those people that are scheduling appointments, like Brooks was saying. And then in addition to that, of the people that are booking these appointments, they're on the north end of worth $500,000 in net worth. Most of them are Henrys, high earners. Not most of them are Henrys, but we also get Henrys, which are high earners, not rich yet. So they're getting into that lifestyle, if not already affluent. But the conversions have been very good, and it's something that we constantly look forward to growing on, because the more that we amass those high quality leads, the more we're able to target individuals like that, whether it's on the website, or if it's through the newsletter, or if it's through another form of marketing that we create with you guys. But overall, yeah, the data has been great, and it's something we look forward to every time we have a new newsletter going live with you guys, or we have an article going live, or we're doing something within the website. It's always exciting to see how that will perform, and more times than not, it does a great job, and that's been really, really exciting. And then you also mentioned the newsletter that you've been helping us manage and kickstart and get off the ground, which is the Relish Report, and that has been a huge lifesaver, having the assistance of you guys helping us create that and get it off the ground, and getting it in front of not only our audience, but also the audience of the Street Sheet, to help that newsletter grow. And that's been a huge helping hand from Street Sheet, and Brooks, yourself, you kind of led the charge with that, which has been amazing.
Awesome. No, I appreciate it, guys. And I think that is a good transition to, as our relationship grew, kind of understanding what the Money Pickle team was working on, bottlenecks. You guys had you actually had, potential prospects, right, for advisors that were sitting in a database untapped, right? We weren't nurturing them as well as maybe collectively we could have been. And that goes, Brenton, to I think what you were speaking to early on. Like, we just are chatting in Slack, like, well, what about this? What about this? And we landed on kind of a co-managed newsletter where you guys are collecting these leads and our team's helping kind of design the template, ideate what should actually be in that every week. You guys give us great feedback there, which our team absolutely loves. And then the execution. So just like workflow, because I think a lot of times there's this misconception that, managing a newsletter, a weekly, a daily is like super easy. And that's kind of what I thought, quite frankly, when I first started this whole thing. And I think you quickly find that, honestly, even posting on Instagram once a week when you're, running a startup and a growing company is like harder than it should be, right? So then you go and try to find someone else to help with that. Maybe it's a freelancer. This person doesn't speak finance, right? Like, that's the issue that a lot of our clients find, is like, they're like, oh, I'll do this. Then they find they can't do this. And it's no knock. There's just a million different things on their plate. Oh, I'm going to go hire like a freelancer or someone on LinkedIn quickly. Like, they end up spending as much time editing that piece as if they just wrote it themselves, right? So then that's how we kind of come into the picture, because we have a good team of finance writers, specifically focused on this industry. They understand the vernacular. They also understand kind of marketing and creative aspect of it, and then most importantly, the compliance. So I think I kind of covered it there, Cam, but the Relish Report has been something that we really enjoy working on. The idea is to build a pool of people, a distribution arm that you guys own, right? Kind of similar to like a Street Sheet. And so, you don't have to rely as much on publishing partners at some point in time, right? You kind of are vertically integrated is the idea. I think this has been incredible. And I think a good way to kind of close it is like, what is next for Money Pickle? If there's anybody listening that just finds this interesting, like, and you guys need to hire people, you need, XYZ, what is next for you guys over the course of this year into 2026? Someone randomly stumbles across this and they kind of think, oh, I'm going to reach out to Brenton and Cam.
Man, next steps. I mean, thinking about in a year from now, it seems like an eternity. I'm just trying to think about this month's plans. But, what I would say is that we are really getting our bearings right here at Money Pickle of growing, or just strengthening our foundation has been really important to us as of recently, just because, we are growing, but at the same time, a lot of our key components are not scalable or growing with us. So what we've been focusing on is building a stronger foundation so that we can continue to grow, because partnerships like this are giving us the opportunity to really take our startup to the next level. So I would just say that the goal in the next year will be continuing to scale up Money Pickle. Our goal is to 10x. So that does come with hiring new people, brighter and shinier features on Money Pickle, and just overall a better product and service for people to match with a financial advisor.
Yeah, absolutely. Building off of Brent, the biggest thing is 10xing. Yeah, I mean, doing whatever we can on our end, and our partners, putting their hands on the steering wheel as well, helping us drive high intent conversions and individuals that want to meet with financial advisors, and also finding partners that open the door to financial advisors, which you have done as well, Brooks, which has been a huge help. Introducing us to advisors that in your circle, that our other colleague Nick has kind of led the charge on with you, which has been great. And another thing I would like to throw in that I didn't mention earlier about Brooks and the street sheet is, one thing, being a startup company, things aren't always necessarily as easy, and you have to find new ways to go about marketing and growing and scaling. And at the time that we met Street Sheet, you guys kind of met us where we were at. We didn't have to come to you. You kind of met us at the point that we were at with our company, which allowed us to kind of grow and build on the campaign to get to a more comfortable place financially with the street sheet. And that's always something that we're very, very appreciative of, being a startup company. And now that's allowed us to grow a bit to where we can get more aggressive with marketing and grow and scale and get to that 10x number like Brent mentioned. And little things like that can go a long way. And we're super appreciative of that.
Awesome, guys. And I think I would be remiss if I didn't point out the fact, again, for anyone who's new to Street Sheet, Money Pickle, thinks this space is interesting. Money Pickle guys are doing something that's very hard. They're building out a two-sided marketplace, right? They're trying to find people who are interested in matching with advisors, and also advisors who are looking for lead gen. And so on that second part, if you're an advisor, and this is something, we didn't do right off the bat because I didn't know Brent and Cam, in week one, but after month one and month two, just kind of understanding their culture, like we spoke about, like the response time, the politeness, like I felt it was easy recommending advisors to these guys who are looking for ways to grow ultimately their AUM. Like end of the day, that's the goal here, is you take a certain amount of calls, you see what your close rate is, you try to improve that close rate, right, over time, and then you bring on new clients to grow your AUM. These guys are building a really, really unique and kind of differentiated tool in this space. So I highly recommend, people who are RIAs, individual advisors, just take a call with them, right? Brenton, I think that would be the very last thing to end this on, is like, when you're talking to an advisor, I don't want to kind of sell it for you, but I have, because I like it. It's guaranteed pre-booked calls. It's exclusive leads, right? These leads are not kind of recycled with everyone else, which is how it happens elsewhere in this space. And if there's a no-show, there's no payment, right? You just kind of get that call back at a later date. So I'm not sure, to any advisors who are watching this, which we do have a bunch on Street Sheet and just in our network, what would you say to kind of like the B2B side of this equation?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you couldn't have, or I couldn't have said it better than you just said it. We built Money Pickle very strongly as advisor built from advisor feedback. The traditional lead gen for financial advisors is broken. A lot of negativity, bad comments, you name it. So we've just nonstop been building Money Pickle in the eyes of a financial advisor, how they would like to meet with new prospects. And and a lot of really great value adds that Brooks mentioned, of just we want to be the best way that an advisor can meet new prospects in a very convenient and fair way. And we invite any advisor out there to check us out, check out our website. We pretty much just hand out or deliver demos. If you'd like to hop on a call with us, we can show you the platform in an easy 20 minutes. But yeah, we are growing our advisor base right now. So please feel free to come connect with us.
Well, great, guys. Looking forward to more down the road. Thank you for the time today. For anyone that wants to give Money Pickle a look, moneypickle.com. And I think that is it for today. So more soon, and thank you for the time.
Yeah, thank you, Brooks. I really appreciate it.
Yep. Thanks, Brooks.